Good Friday afternoon and welcome to the Midday newscast on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. I'm Samson Anton. Top of the news at this time, Acting President Timothy Hamel-Smith has found that there is nothing or no one else to blame for the Section 34 fiasco but former Justice Minister Herbert Falney. This is revealed by Opposition Leader Dr. Keith Rowley. He produced a confidential letter last evening sent to him by the Acting President. Dr. Rowley says it is time to review the Constitution regarding the office of the President. We have more from Chester Zambrano.
After keeping it silent for several weeks, Opposition Leader Dr. Keith Rowley is now making public a letter sent to him by Acting President Timothy Hamel-Smith in response to a call for the removal of Attorney General Anand Ramlogan following the Section 34 controversy. At a post-budget meeting in Diego Martin on Thursday night, Dr. Rowley gave details of the Acting President's findings.
I have to report that nothing in such documentation points to any course of action that was out of the ordinary or from which I could infer that anyone other than Mr. Herbert Falney, the Minister of Justice, was responsible for matters relating to the passing and proclamation of the Act.
Dr. Rowley was not impressed and is now taking aim at the office of the President.
You know what this means? This means that the office of President has rubber-stamped the Prime Minister's attempt to sweep this matter under the carpet. What this does, it should tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago from today, we have to begin to think about changing the arrangement for the presidency of Trinidad and Tobago. We're talking here about reform of the Constitution.
The opposition leader said the PNM will not be deterred in its goal to have the AG removed and is calling for full support come November 2nd.
The rule of law in Trinidad and Tobago must prevail. And when the government uses office to create a situation where persons are placed above the law, close down your business Friday evening, 2nd of November. Come out from your work, take a half day if you have to. Put somebody to hold your baby if you have to. Get in the taxi if you have to. Come out and be counted. If Trinidad and Tobago ever needed you, it's now.
He said a message must be sent to the government that its days are numbered. I am Chester Zambrano reporting for CNC3 News.
Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Northeast, Colin Mimbert, is today claiming that emergency housing is not available to disastrous victims of the disaster of flooding in his constituency. He was speaking at a public meeting last evening in Diego Martin, and Mr. Mimbert is saying that although assurances were given to provide accommodation through the HDC, this is not being done. He described the entire situation as distasteful.
I have spoken to the Minister of Housing. And every time you talk to them, they say, we go help. Yes, man, send the letter, we go help. You know what they're doing? When you write them and tell them, Mr. So-and-so, his house was completely destroyed by a landslide. He and his family are homeless. They have nowhere to live. Could you please assist them? I get back a letter. I was looking at one today. We acknowledge your letter, Mr. Imbert, but we want to let you know they have 100,000 applications. And when space is available, we let you know.
Mr. Imbert is claiming that the Diego Martin residents are being victimized.
Houses destroyed by a natural disaster. A year ago, they're running up and down, they're going into the HTC every day, they're crying, they're begging, no help. It's as if they have a special notice inside there, don't help people from Diego Martin.
Health Minister Dr. Fuad Khan is deeming the action of the workers at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex as illegal, and he's vowing to take action against guilty persons. For weeks now, the workers have been protesting many issues at the institution, including the planned public-private partnership at the NCRHA. Well, speaking on the CNC3 early morning show today, Mr. Khan warned that the workers involved in the action would soon be held responsible.
They're disrupting the actual working of the hospital. They're sitting on this and they're making noise around the area to the point that I had to take action and ask, what is this? Is it an essential service?
Juliana Chambers, the wife of this country's second Prime Minister George Chambers, has died. CNC3 understands that 81-year-old Mrs. Chambers passed away sometime last evening after collapsing. Some of her relatives who were at the PNM post-budget meeting had to rush home upon hearing the news. The gathering at the Starlight Shopping Plaza then observed a moment of silence. The house in which Mrs. Chambers grew up on Edward Street in Port of Spain has on it an inscription saying, Mrs. Juliana Chambers, wife of the Honorable George Chambers, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, lived here. It is said that George Chambers, even when he was Prime Minister, went every day of the week to that small family house of his wife on Edward Street for lunch. The murder count continues to rise with a murder in Aruca. Police say that shortly after 12 this morning, Shaka Gibbs was liming outside of Windy Hill in Aruca when residents reported hearing loud explosions. Upon checking, they found a motionless man lying on the roadway. Police say that Gibbs was well known to them and he was a suspect in several matters. The police are also expressing a concern that the Northern Division is now seeing an upsurge in criminal activity because of the increased police presence in the Laventil area. Aruca police, they are continuing investigations into this latest killing. In news of sport now, DirecTV W Connection will begin defense of their Digicel Pro League title later this evening at the Manny Ramjan Stadium in Marabella. Connection, they come up against Neelam Masimoto's Caledonia AIA in the second game of the day's doubleheader. This will be the Savanetto boys' first game of the season, having had their opening against newcomers Central FC postponed due to the club's commitment in the CONCACAF Champions League. Club competition connections their coach, Stuart Charles Fervier, was unable to have his full complement of players for the practice sessions, as those who were on duty with the national team in St. Kitts arrived back home very late after being stranded in that country following the passing of Tropical Storm Raphael on the weekend. National captain and Connection first call goalkeeper Michael Phillips, he was one of them and is scheduled to arrive tonight. Caledonia, on the other hand, will start this evening's encounter with a slight advantage, having beaten the defending Pro League champions twice for the season. Like Connection, Caledonia AIA will be without their experienced midfielder Denzel Theobald, who will be returning from St. Kitts Nevis later tonight after being on national duty with the Soca Warriors. This evening's game is scheduled for an 8 o'clock start following the clash between newcomers Central FC and Police FC 2 hours earlier. Chairman of the Congress of the People, Joseph Tony, says that he finds it disgusting that people associated his decision to accept a brief from the Finance Ministry on CLICO as a senior COP member as he addressed supporters in his bid to be re-elected chairman at next week's COP internal elections. Mr. Tony argued that the party has always sought more positions of authority, and when he gets it, he's criticized.
We have always been clamoring in this party to have more positions of influence. And when we get these positions of influence and people are paid for them, the critics, within and without of the party, say that we want to eat a food. And I find that is disgusting.
Last evening, Mr. Tony announced that he had returned the brief because members of the party were uncomfortable with it and because of how it appeared to members of the public. The president of the Law Association, Senior Counsel Sinath Jairam, he also returned his brief on CLICO. Acting Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism, Anna Roberts, is expressing his condolences to the family of the late Bertie Marshall, the steel pan pioneer who passed on earlier this week. Minister Roberts says the news of Mr. Marshall's passing is both shocking and sad. He was devastated when he heard about it, he says. He says Bertie was a giant of a man, a pan tuner extraordinaire and brilliant innovator whose dedication to his craft was second to none. Roberts says Trinidad and Tobago owes a debt of gratitude to Bertie Marshall, and his contribution to the movement should be preserved and passed on to future generations. Well, it's time now for your weather forecast for the period this afternoon and tonight. Trinidad and Tobago will be mostly hot and sunny with light to moderate showery interruptions in various locations. There will be tonight some sort of calm. It's expected to be warm. Seas are slight with waves reaching up to 2 meters in open waters and near calm and sheltered areas. The forecast maximum temperature at Piarco It's a very hot 34 degrees Celsius, a cooler 31 degrees over at Crown Point in Tobago. I can tell you I was outside a short while ago and it is indeed very hot out there, so do take care of yourself. Join us again at 1 for another news update. We'll have updates on the hour until 6 o'clock, our major newscast at 7.